Oh, hello, and welcome to the Steve Hanna Show, Episode 2, September 9th, 2007. I thank you for tuning in again. If you tuned in last time, I thank you for that. If you left comments, I thank you for that. One comment, they noticed that I didn't actually use both angles from the last recording. That's kind of because I got really excited in the video editing, thought, look how easy it is, I want it up tonight. So I put it up and I decided just not to put in the extra angle because it would have been a little bit of extra time. Sadly, tonight I'm only setting up one camera because I figure, what the hey. The second camera will be useful when we have guests, and I will have guests eventually, trust me on that, because there's only so much I can say myself. I prefer to talk to people, and I'm sure you would prefer if I had people to talk to also. So, straight to business. There's just a few issues I want to cover tonight. I'm going to try to make it a little bit shorter than the last episode. The first issue is Michael Vick and dogfighting. I think we've all heard the news about Michael Vick, the NFL quarterback who was caught running a dogfighting circuit. And really I want to talk about dogfighting itself, how cruel it is on the dog. Dogs are getting hurt, maimed, and even killed through the course of this. And it's a little bit different than human fighting because the dogs don't really know when to stop. And the humans just, their masters, just have the dogs go until one of the dogs is essentially dead. And then they'll even put a dog down if it's not a good fighter. This is not humane. So we should let the dogs wear armor. Because if the dogs wear armor, they will live to fight another day. It'll have to change, well, they'll have to change the way they fight a little bit because they can't just bite on each other's necks anymore. They could lose a tooth. But eventually I think they'll adjust. I mean, dogs are not dumb animals. You can train them to do anything. And, I mean, those that are worried about it not being as entertaining, I mean, it's kind of like, I guess, wearing a condom. Some people like the more natural dog fight, you know, the teeth right in the flesh. But the armor could work well. Plus, it can open up new doors for the dog fighting sport altogether. Instead of being underground, it becomes legitimate. Dogs don't get killed anymore. There's no humane issues anymore. So we can bring dogfighting right up to Vegas. You can bet on dogfighting now legally, as long as betting is legal. I'm not sure how the laws are on that. Make sure it's legal in your state or province or whatever you're trying to do. Sports Action could get in on it. I'm not sure how they'd score it since the no dog really dies. I guess it would be a matter of technique then. Certainly kicks and hits and rolls perhaps. There could be points for obedience like sitting. I'm not sure if that would please the average dog fighting fanatic. But there are other possibilities. Once you make this a legitimate industry, all of a sudden you don't have to have dog on dog anymore. You could, for instance, have dog on chicken. Now, before you get excited and think, whoa, that's no fair. The dog and the chicken, the dog's going to win. Think about it this way. We can always even things up. A dog, 10 chickens. It could be a very, very close fight. I mean, at first the dog, 1, 2 chickens would take it no problem. But after a while, you get enough chickens in there, if they learn teamwork, they start hitting the dog from all angles, and you could see a victory on points, at least, depending on what the point system is. I don't think the chickens would be able to beat the dog into submission, but in a shorter fight that's on definitely on points, I think the chickens have a chance. You could also get tag teams going on. I like the idea of a gorilla riding a rhinoceros against perhaps a dog riding a turtle. Actually, the gorilla would probably win. It becomes very hard. You could bring bears in. I mean, you'd have to get the cage match going. You'd have to make sure. I mean, it'd probably be harder to find armor to fit bears. I think there's more armor for dogs available now. But over time, you would be able to find such a thing. So certainly, that's a good way to go. So keep that in mind. Moving on. Urban music. I found out recently, I leased a car, and it came with XM radio for the first 3 months. I thought this was really cool. You get 200 stations, everything you can imagine. It's got CNN, Fox News. I get all this American news, which is very interesting to hear the American perspective on things. They've got a 90 station, an 80 station, a 70 station, and it's all digital quality. It's great. Now, I was looking for rap music. It's got you can actually categorize the music into categories. It's got decades, like 70s, 80s. It's got folk music, country, news, Christian, pop music. It's got them all, and you sort of go through, and once you're on a certain category, you click, and it goes through the next station. It's very easy to use. But I wanted to find where the rap music was, so I wasn't too sure where it might be. What I found out is that there is a new word, probably politically correct, for black music, and it's called urban music. I never would have known this. So that leads me to wonder, is the political correct term for black people now urban people? Because that really doesn't seem very politically correct at all. I'd have to check with XM. But when I went to the urban music section, it didn't stop at rap. It was pretty much any music that had a black performer. It was R&B, it was hip hop, it was rap. I mean, I really liked all this stuff. I was surprised it was hidden under urban music, but I'm gonna have to check it out. Don't jump the gun and go to a rap concert and call people urban people. Just, I mean, in case it causes problems. I'm still not sure it's the best word to use. Yeah, this is treading thin water. On to the next issue. MarryOurDaughter.com. You run across this one? I subscribe to a feed on a site called Reddit, which it's basically a place where people go and they vote on interesting sites that they see. Some of the sites that they vote on, actually a lot of the sites they vote on, are just complete ridiculous things that people find on the internet. Nonetheless, this came up highly last week. It's called MarryOurDaughter.com, and it is exactly what it sounds like. Essentially, families decide when their daughter is 14 to 16 years old that they want to put their daughter up for auction. And these are people in the United States. I can read the description here. It's quite interesting. MarryOurDaughter.com. There it is. And it'll just take a second to load up here. Our service. And we'll load up. Okay, MarryOurDaughter.com is an introduction service assisting those following the biblical tradition of arranging marriages for their daughters. Those who wish to list their daughters on our site should click the sign up button. Those who want to propose should click the daughter's info card. So let's look at some of these daughters. Okay, we've got Kira A, age 14 and a half. Kira likes the outdoors, more the open air of the beach or the desert than the woods. She would love to live somewhere away from it all. She is bright and funny and full of life, while she has little direct experience with the opposite sex. Oh, but they have made sure that she is aware of everything she needs to know to be a good wife. This one is going to run you $27,995 if you want to propose to her. But anyways, yeah, it's a great site. Looks like they've got about 50 fine young ladies up for sale. Amazing. And is there anything else? I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover for today. If you've got suggestions, if you think I should have worded some stuff better, or if you have any information for me that you want to give me, please leave comments on the blog. And I thank you for tuning in, and have a good night.